and RG3 faces an uncertain future. But we begin today with Adrian Peterson being reinstated by the Minnesota Vikings. Peterson intends to play this weekend at New Orleans. Today, Peterson released a statement saying he regrets what he called the unintentional injuries to his 4-year-old son. But he defended his parenting methods while leaving open the possibility that this was his mistake. Quote, "I am not a perfect parent," Peterson wrote. Quote, "but I am without a doubt not a child abuser," unquote. Wilbon, do you think Peterson should play?
Tony, I won't go as far as say should play, but it's fine with me if he plays. I don't think that every sin that visits the NFL or either sports league for that matter is solved by sitting somebody forever. I don't know. We will find out. Adrian Peterson, as you mentioned, has this sort of long apology / explanation for what he did. For those of us to whom spankings, whippings, whatever phrase you want to use, words you want to use, are not all that rare, there still comes a place where spanking, even with a switch, and I'm familiar with that culturally because I've had them hit my behind in my life, that can morph or cross a line into abuse. I've not heard of bruises on the face, or these kind of lacerations resulting from just a switch whipping. So there's some explaining to do, and I'm sure we'll get to that. But in the meantime, Adrian Peterson seems contrite. There's a lot to go on here, and I don't think sitting him answers it.
I think that statements like this are very carefully worded. When I hear the word child abuse, I go to a different place. I mean, I don't go to spankings, and I know that this is worse than a spanking. But for me, child abuse changes the face of this story.
Just the phrase, just the two words together.
I would hope that Adrian Peterson, and I'm okay with him playing as well, I would hope that Adrian Peterson would continue the counseling that he talked about in that statement. There is a line. We know the line. You can see it. These photographs, they're terrible. And it's a 4-year-old boy. It's not a 10-year-old boy or an 11-year-old boy. It's really bad. But I think these whoopings seem to be, I didn't grow up with them. They're cultural. They're geographic. I don't think the jury in Texas will convict him. I don't.
Well, I guess it depends on how old they are and what they remember about whippings, which used to be commonplace. Every day, talked about. You send a kid to get his own switch off the tree, and the kid might talk about it on the way down the street while returning with his switch. But again, there seems to be a leap, Tony, from that, which seemed commonplace, which was commonplace at one point in our culture, larger culture in America, to where Peterson apparently went.
I think what you hear in what he says, or what you read in what he says, is a certain disconnect. And I found this about Michael Vick. When Michael Vick was arrested for dog fighting and dog killing, he said, but that's what it was like where I grew up. Well, we evolve as a culture. We should be a little bit better than our parents, and our kids should be a little bit better than us. And I think that Adrian Peterson is now coming to an awareness that what he did was probably way too much. Way too much.
Certainly too much force. Certainly.